Habs win in a shootout. I'll go over my quick thoughts on the game and then go for more of a play-by-play analysis. Overall, Montreal dominated this game in the neutral zone and on the forecheck. The Canadiens' transition, speed, skill, systems totally overwhelmed the Canucks D. They were constantly stuck in their end, and multiple times the Canucks defensemen had numbers, but like I always bring up, is it the system? Is it the skill? They make these bad plays, so many bad giveaways because they were just totally overwhelmed and weren't able to cope with it. Holtby and Price, a goaltending duel from goalies who were fantastic a few years ago, and now, not so much. Brock Boeser, I think, had one of his best all-around performances I've ever seen him have. He continues to round out his game, his leadership, his physicality, his defense, his clutch goal scoring in so many different ways, his playmaking, everything in his game was absolutely perfect. If he could play like this the majority of the time, I would be very happy giving him $7 or $8 million. Not personally. I don't think I'll ever have $7 or $8 million. I guess it depends how Bitcoin does. Another thought on the game, 3-on-3 sucks now. Montreal and these coaches have ruined it, and the Canucks are doing it too. This 3-on-3 is supposed to be basically like a line rush drill. We want to see people rush one way, and if there's a save or the shot is missed, we want to see the other team transition back and just see a bunch of rushes. That's fun. It's almost like just have a rush drill. It's like make it like an all-star competition. But now you just see guys ragging the puck in and out of the blue line, doing line changes. It's so boring. I'd like maybe go back to 4-on-4, make it 10 minutes. I don't know what they're going to do at this point, but this is not working. The teams have figured it out. Also, apparently Friedman reported that the Canucks were shopping UFAs, and then when the Canucks went on this little winning streak, they took a wait-and-see approach. Isn't that just so typical of this team, of this management, where so your plan was to shop them, you start winning. Are you watching the games? Because they're not winning because it's a great team. They were winning because Demko was unbelievable, unsustainable. He's fantastic, but he was playing lights out. He was playing like Hasek levels. And the Canucks were not, they didn't deserve to win a lot of the games on this winning streak. I'll say in the last maybe 2 or 3 games, they have been playing a lot better. I mean, in this game, they had some stretches where they were pretty good. In the last game as well. So they're coming around. And I don't know, maybe Benning has just seen something I didn't. And he saw that they were coming around earlier. But it just really seems like such a knee-jerk reaction. Anyways, let's go through the game. The Habs dominated the opening minutes. Again, with the neutral zone and the forecheck. I saw Jake Virtanen just sticking out, standing still in the neutral zone and giving the puck away. He's shown he can transition the puck before. I loved what he did against Vegas when he was moved up to the top line. He needs to give the Canucks that. I said I wasn't going to talk about him anymore because it's going to be the same thing all the time. Oh, Jake, you're doing that when we know you can do better. Well, that's it. We know what he is now. Roussel and Zach and Adam Gaudette were on the line, and they constantly surprised me with their forecheck. Every time it seemed like Montreal was just dominating the Canucks, and the Canucks were on their heels, making mistakes, needing something to go right for them. It was Zach McEwen, Gaudette, and Roussel streaking in, getting some possession on the forecheck. Sometimes it wouldn't even lead to a shot, but it gave the Canucks some confidence. They would get in there, and even if they couldn't get a shot, they'd maintain possession. The puck would go back to the Canucks D. They could get a line change, and now they had some confidence. They had some momentum. They were starting to push back. So I was really impressed with them. And then Jace Howerluck and Mott on the other line, they had a fantastic game too. So as we're losing the depth of Pettersson and Pearson on the top 6, which leaves Miller forming a top line with VC, a waiver wire pickup, who has been a great waiver wire pickup, and Jake Virtanen and Miller, just like he did in the playoffs, just like he was doing last year, he willed that line to be competitive, to probably be the most competitive line for the Canucks tonight. The Canucks weren't playing especially bad. I think they had an overall pretty good game. It's just Montreal was a better team, and they were playing better, and it was the back and forth of hockey, and for the most part, it was the Habs pushing and exposing the Canucks D and Holtby to point where they'd score a goal, but the Canucks, give them credit, they fought back. There were some huge performances from Miller, from Boeser, from a lot of the team gelling together, bailing out the defensemen, and they played a pretty good game considering the talent level they have and the lineup. I think they played probably the best game they could. Who knows? Actually, you know what? If this wasn't a back-to-back and Demko played tonight, they probably would have won. Höglander and Horvat are just so good together, and now Höglander is starting to find better ways to get the puck to Brock, whereas in the last game, it seemed like Brock wasn't really sure where Höglander was going to go. He was expecting maybe a more pretty set-up drop pass. Now he's got a feel for what Höglander's going to do, and how Höglander has such a great talent for bringing defenders to him, causing a lot of chaos. He's like the Tasmanian devil. He just goes in there. It looks like he's almost falling and tripping, but he maintains such great control of the puck and body positioning, and he knows that that's what he needs to do when he's playing in a league where everybody's going to be bigger than him, but he's still going to be the guy controlling the puck, and he was finding Brock, and they were playing great. Speaking of the Canucks defense systems, there was one play I wanted to highlight. The puck was soft dumped into the Canucks zone. There were two Habs forechecking against two Canuck defenders and Horvat. Horvat glides behind the net to give some options. Hamonic has the puck. Instead of passing over to Horvat, using those numbers and calmly moving out of the zone, he dishes over to a covered Hughes. Hughes is checked. The puck bounces towards Holtby into the slot with another Hab coming towards it, but Horvat is able to push it out of danger, but it still goes back to a Montreal defender. Now, this one little play led to one of the longest Montreal zone time of the period, if not the whole game. I mean, Montreal was changing lines as the exhausted Canucks against this had to ice it. It happened again soon after as Miller had it in the Canucks zone with numbers, and he just flicks it behind the net out of reach of Edler, because Edler's doing that thing where that you see Myers do. They always tend to have one Canuck defender. Once the other team gets in their zone, they camp out right in front of the goalie. And because Edler was there was nobody behind the net, nobody to get the pass. And those pucks that go around, if you don't have a defenseman behind the net, unless you really fire it out, there's going to be a defenseman who's at that point who's going to crouch down, and they're going to grab it. To start the second period, the Habs were out shooting the Canucks 10-2. The Canucks needed an answer at this point, and Miller provided it. How about this shift from Miller? He wins the faceoff. He hustles to get the soft Montreal clear and control it in the neutral zone. He anticipates Montreal's defense on the forecheck and steals the puck. He gets it out to Jake right in front, who scores. Man, this is what we saw of Miller against St. Louis and Vegas. When they needed goals, when they needed something to happen, he would make it happen. You could feel it on the ice when he was in the neutral zone, when he scampered back and hustled hard to get the puck that they might have lost control of. And he had this real firm pass to Edler that just said, let's go. And he wound up and he made that whole goal happen. Tyler Mott then draws a penalty. On the Canucks power play, they get in quick. They have a slightly new look, a little more spontaneous. There's a quick one-timer to Bow, but Price makes the save. Montreal has a great penalty-killing forecheck, keeping the Canucks in their zone. Miller makes a move to gain the zone. Hughes has a nice pass to Brock for another power play one-timer goal from Boeser. Vesey has the screen, and he rotates out of the way as the shot comes in. In the next shift, Schmidt breaks out. He finds Sutter on the left wing. Instead of Sutter shooting, he makes this move, gets in tight. He tries to do a cross-ice pass that's easily intercepted and springs a really dangerous Montreal transition. Victor Mete just vrooms for a partial breakaway. Holtby comes up big and keeps the Canucks 2-1 lead. I thought Gaudette looked a lot more confident in this game. He's using his speed to pick up a cleared puck, got a nice chance. It led to a Montreal icing. He just seems more confident. He's figuring out a little bit more with stick handling and puck possession and how to get back to use his speed and his skills to keep the puck away. He still has a very high percentage of his shot attempts getting blocked. He doesn't get a shot away fast enough, or he doesn't make enough room for himself to get a shot off because defenders see it coming a mile away. They put their stick down and he goes for a shot. It's ending up in the stands. It's Adam Gaudette puck night for the fans. Montreal scores shortly after. There's a face-off in the Montreal end. Looks like a Canuck face-off win, but Gallagher's speed pushes Myers back. Montreal gains the zone. They're buzzing around. Ben and Myers are not able to pick up any loose pucks. They're just hanging out in front of the net. Montreal gets several shots, and eventually Tatar gets a screen shot in. Holtby, I won't blame him on this one because he's actually peeking to the right around Mott. There's Mott, a Montreal Canadian, and another Canuck defender all on the left of Holtby, and Mott sort of cuts like right through the crease, Brett Hull style in 1998 against Dominik Hasek in the Stanley Cup final. And while Mott is taking the short way through, I don't know what he was doing there anyway, you can see Holtby peering around to the right, trying to poke around Mott, and the puck comes on the other side, and it's in. I love Mott, but that was not a great play. Montreal dominated the second half of the second period. Their transition was just so fast. The Canucks couldn't keep up. They were collapsing back and resorting to just slapping the puck out of the zone. They couldn't establish any kind of control or breakout. A positive, though, I thought Roussel looked a lot faster than we've seen him all season. Maybe after having a bit of time off from that injury, he was able to work out, or maybe he had a few other things ailing him that were slowing him down. But he's looked a lot faster. Not really much more effective, but faster. Montreal scores. The Habs are buzzing in the zone again. Schmidt goes way out to the point man. Edmondson wires one that goes high on Holtby. In and out. So fast, they don't register the goal until Tatar taps in the unnecessary rebound. This puts the Habs up 3-2. This is going to happen to Holtby a lot in this game. Him going down and long shots scoring up high. In the third period, the Canucks get a little pressure. Montreal ices it. Off the faceoff win, Höglander helps that faceoff win. Hughes shoots. Bo deflects it for the goal. It's 3-3, less than a minute in. Now 2 shifts later, a faceoff win. Myers to Ben. Ben with a long bomb to Hawryluk, who stops short, passes it to Mott, who snipes and scores with Sutter screening. 4-3, still less than a minute in. This was looking good. The Canucks have felt like they were just kind of scoring a will, and now they're starting to skate fast and just throwing pucks to the net. Everybody was trying to get in on the goal party. Brock was chasing a dump of the puck. You ever notice he kind of skates like he's power walking? It's like he doesn't lift his legs off the ground much off the ice, and he sort of pumps his arms like he's doing uppercuts. I think he moves pretty fast, but it's definitely a unique skating style. As we continue into this goaltending duel of great goalies from 5 years ago, Montreal wins a faceoff. Gallagher picks it up at the hash marks and gets another top-shelf goal. This gets them tied at 4. They go into overtime. Oh my God, I had to help my girlfriend with some editing, so I didn't watch this game until it was over. And I kept falling asleep and having to rewind it for the end of the third period in the overtime. It was so boring. There were so many exits. Players just grabbing the puck. I don't like that. I'm going to back off. Because it's so much easier to gain the zone now. And people are just holding it and waiting for line changes. People want to see line rushes. And there was a little bit of that at the end. But we finally got some big saves from Holtby and Price. I think it's because on the rushes, the puck ended up mostly being lower. And Holtby and Price, they were pretty great at stopping anything going along the ice. Hey, a shootout. Let's do a play-by-play on this real long shootout we had. Corey Perry and Boeser are the first shooters. They both make it look super easy, scoring right away. I thought, okay, this is going to be over soon, especially with how these goalies have been playing. But then Drouin misses. Miller goes wide and slow, and he's stopped. Suzuki goes real wide and real slow and backwards, but he's stopped. Bo comes in nice and slow. He misses. Kotkaniemi makes a move, and Holtby stays with him. Gaudette makes a nice move, but he can't elevate it enough over the outstretched pad of Perry. That was a great save. Byron comes in quick with a quick shot. He's stopped. Vesey gets a chance. Can the waiver wire pickup do it? He goes wide, backhand, and a glove save by Price. Tatar, he comes in, the European. I only say that because it's the shootout, and they tend to practice them more than North Americans. He gets Holtby going the other way on a really nice deke and scores. Höglander needs to score to tie it up, to stay alive, and he doesn't. So the Canadians win. The Canucks played pretty good. The Canadians are a better team. They should be a better team with where they're at. The Canucks are missing their franchise centerman, and one of their top nine, well, one of their top six forwards in Pearson. Their defense obviously has needed even more of an overhaul than what they did with Schmid. Losing Tanev was a big loss. It really sucks watching the Hockey Night in Canada intermission and them talking about how great Tanev is to the team. And now that they've got Daryl Sutter and they're even more defensive, just how amazing he is. And yeah, that bloody well sucks. So, I mean, you can't focus on it, but it's still so fresh. Like, give me a bit of time to wallow in it. Because the Canucks need a stable guy. They need a Tanev type in the defensive zone. And Hamonic is of that mold, and Ben is of that mold, and they've played well. But Tanev was a real special defender, and he was a leader, and he kept the team calm, even when they're playing like shit. He had them able to just calm down a bit and get possession and kind of get reset. And that's what they're absolutely lacking right now. And maybe it's the systems, maybe it's the talent. What do you guys think out there? I'm kind of two minds with it. I mean, my theory was that when I see Hughes and Schmid struggling, I think that can't be both of those pretty fantastic offensive puck-moving defensemen both struggling at the same time. Why do they look so uncharacteristically bad? Could be a systems thing. Although Hughes looked pretty fantastic last season. And then when I see guys like Ben and Hamonic, pretty similar players, more stay-at-home, playing sort of above their pay grade, especially Ben, looking better than what people sold them as, then you think, okay, maybe it's a systems thing that just kind of rewards the way those guys play. I don't know. I think it's a combination of both. I think I'd be fine seeing Green gone. I constantly have felt that's their problem, is that it just looks like the Canucks don't have anybody to pass to. And maybe somebody out there who's played a lot of hockey can let me know that they're watching it and they like what Green does, and it's like very obviously a talent problem. It's definitely both. I think one of the biggest takeaways, if I can't find an answer to that question, definitely one of the biggest takeaways in the last week with the Canucks is that these guys we've been complaining about, or I won't speak for anyone but myself, these guys have been complaining about Sutter, Roussel, Jake, Louis to an extent. But those dead weight guys, they were hurting the team more than we thought. They were hurting the team because Green couldn't trust playing his fourth line regularly, because there was no chemistry, because there was no offense coming from it, and because there wasn't even a lot of great defense coming from it. Brandon Sutter, who has played decently defensively this season, he's actually had some games where he plays really strongly, but he does get a lot of credit on the defensive end because of his last name. And he seems like he's a great guy in the room, and people seem to like him. I saw him interview all the players on the plane. They love the guy. He seems like a good leader. But Sutter and Roussel and Jake, they have been anchors on not only the salary cap situation, with their money and their contracts and being tough to move and taking up a lot of space, but they've just been anchors on the actual production, on momentum. When you're bottom six, when you have two lines that every time they go out there end up just giving up a million chances and not getting anything going, they're killing momentum that your top two lines are trying to build. And hockey is like rugby. It's a momentum game. It's about stopping the bleeding and trying to turn things around. It's about building that momentum and stepping on your opponent's throat and getting a goal because you've worn them out by swarming them and forechecking them and just coming after them wave after wave. And because we've seen how good goaltending is. Good modern goaltenders are going to cut down angles, and if you're not getting those rebounds or making the goalie have to move across the crease, if you're not doing that kind of stuff, they're going to stop you most of the time. Not tonight, but that was a different story. So it's all about the momentum and getting real simple guys in. I mean, it's that classic analytical language of replacement value. I think this perfectly explains it right here with what the Canucks have been doing, is that a league is made up of a few superstars, a lot of pretty good players, but mostly sort of like scrubs, or at least in baseball, that's what they do. Hockey, probably more top 9 players than scrubs. But the Canucks are filled with guys where, like Harman Dial said, average is an upgrade. And just to have VC go out there, and if a puck comes to him, he can make something happen. If he's in a good situation, to make something happen. Jace Howerluck, when he's near the puck, he's going to make a choice, and he's going to make something happen, whether he has to be physical, whether he has to make a play, whether he has to skate with it. Where, yeah, he's not Alex Ovechkin, he's not Stamkos, he's not Pettersson, he's not Miller. He doesn't have to be. He just needs to be a good passing option, make a good pass, get the puck in deep, go for the forecheck, and more talented players around him are going to do the scoring, and he's going to help. And that's what you need. And Sutter and Roussel and Jake are below that. They're below replacement value, where they're giving you negative value most of the time when they're on the ice, especially Roussel. Roussel has probably been easily the worst Canuck on the team. But that's pretty negative. Let's talk about the great things. Miller really stood up, and he carried that line and was incredible. And he really motivated the team. I felt like his line was absolutely the most dangerous, which is crazy considering you've got Bo Horvat, Brock Boeser, and Höglander on the other line. That's where all of your, say, quote-unquote, talent is. On paper, that should be the top line, but Miller was out there making things happen. He was pissed, and he was playing well. And Brock Boeser, who I have harped on a lot since I've had this YouTube channel, he's really impressed me. He has been rounding out that game, and tonight he played an absolute all-around incredible game. He was a fucking superstar. Even if he didn't get that goal in the power play, but when he did, you just think, yeah, man, damn it. You're a fucking threat. You look like Ovechkin out there. That was amazing. But it wasn't just that. It was that his playmaking was real sharp, making passes. Wasn't blowing offensive zone control by missing a pass or being in the wrong spot. Maybe just keep him with Horvat. That might be the chemistry we need. Keep Miller and Pettersson together. Keep Horvat and Boeser together. And put Höglander with Horvat. I think they're fantastic together. And then you've got, I don't know if you're going to put Pearson on that top line with Miller and Pettersson. Am I forgetting somebody? I don't know. VC? Maybe. You know, VC's similar to Miller and Pettersson in a way where he's kind of this, like, not a big guy, not super fast, but they're kind of good at everything, you know? Miller's not big, but he can hit, and he can skate well enough, and Pettersson can skate well enough. Those two have great shots. VC's kind of an all-arounder. He can make plays. He can score. Oh, he had a great chance, 2-on-1-ish, and I think, I don't know, maybe he felt like, I'm the new guy, and that's Brock Boeser over there. I'm going to try to get him the puck, but he probably should have shot there. Probably thinks that after, but I think he was just playing the role of the new guy who got picked up on waivers. Anyway, I'll be back here after the next game, and I hope you have a good one. Thank you very much for watching this. Have a good day, night, life.